What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of This Week in Phillies Baseball. I'm your host, James Scorza, with you, and joining me today is a group of companions on this very important human, or dare I say, the beginning of a hot, maybe summer coming up very, very soon. Alex Reich and Austin Hammel joining me here tonight. Austin will join us momentarily. Alex, first and foremost, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm good. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, it was a very good weekend for the Fighting Phillies, and more importantly, like the weather was, the Phillies were red hot this weekend, and they took 2 out of 3 by the New York Mets over the weekend. So it was good to see them get back on track here, more importantly like that. But I guess we could start out with the first and most important thing here, as we always talk about the recap of the weekly recap. The Phillies started the season, start the week rather in Miami, took 3 out of 4 against the Marlins, and then the Mets come into town. Like we always say, the Mets turning into the Mets on the first two, take a 2 out of 3. But overall, I guess I'll ask you the first question, and hopefully Austin will come in and join us too. But so this weekend was a good weekend for the Phillies. But in your opinion, what do you think went right with this Phillies team this weekend to get 2 out of 3 from the Mets, and also taking 3 out of 4 by the? There's Austin right now. What's happening, Austin? How you doing, man?
How we doing?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Doing good. This was a heck of a week for the Bills, man.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend. So I guess so. I'll ask you the two-part question here. So like I said, the Phillies take a 2 out of 3 on the weekend over the Mets, and it was a 3 out of 4 by the Marlins. But overall, guys, how did you guys feel about this weekend by the Phillies? I mean, I could say it was probably one of the best to probably have this. I think it was a good weekend for the Phillies to get started with the Mets. But overall, how did you guys? I mean, what's one thing that stuck out to you the most, especially with this series that came up this weekend with the Mets, especially taking 2 out of 3 with this team that is really struggling right now?
I mean, for me, honestly, it was the pitching. The pitching has been extremely consistent. We had a couple of little hiccups there during the week. The rough start against the Mets by Abel. I feel like that was kind of the situation getting to him a little bit, but he's still young, so there's time for him to be able to overcome that. Overcome that later on. But you had an 8th straight quality start from Ranger Suarez going up against Miami. You had a really solid performance from Wheeler. Great 8-inning performance from Christopher Sanchez. So, I mean, the pitching's been extremely strong, extremely consistent this week, and you just hope that can continue on going into this upcoming week here.
Yeah, absolutely. Same to you, Alex. So what do you think went right with this Phillies team this week between the Marlins and the Mets? What stuck out to you the most?
Yeah, in the Miami series, I thought that the pitching stuck out to me. It was really consistent night by night, and I felt like the hitting was especially good. Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm, Kyrie Schwarber, for example, those 3 were dominant from bottom to top, and I just feel like that momentum really came through the next series against the Mets, being in front of the home fans. That really stood out to me. I felt like JT Realmuto definitely hit an awesome game against I think it was the second game of the Miami series, where he had an RBI single before Stott drove in a run on the first pitch of I forget what inning it was, but he just keeps shining bright behind the plate and in the batter's box, and it's amazing to see.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the other thing that sticks out to me the most was that the Phillies hitting started to finally get back into a groove again after a couple here and there. Like sometimes they had some inconsistency woes, but overall, I mean, for me, the one thing that stuck out to me the most this week was that it's June and it's finally seeing Kyle Schwarber finally come back around a little bit, and even Trey Turner a little bit coming back a little bit too, to see him finally get into a groove again. I was really impressed to see a lot of good things happen this week with this Phillies team. I thought they played very well to the competition. I mean, obviously you had a little bit of a tussle between Rob Thompson and Nick Castellanos in the week, but it looks like it was like water under the bridge probably, like within the next day or so, because the next game he starts to play a lot better and also was a better outcome because of it too. So that's the most important thing about what this Phillies team is doing right now. They're just playing lights out good baseball right now. I think that's the most important thing, because when they play good baseball like this, the question is, can they sustain it for the next few months or so around September and October? But right now, if they play the same level of success they're having right now, good things might be coming on the rise for this Phillies team come those later months like August, September, and October too.
Absolutely. And like you said about the Castellanos thing, it was really about how was he going to respond when he came back into the lineup the next day. And what was it, 4 straight at bats? The first pitch he saw, he just absolutely tattooed the ball every time.
Yeah.
Like the guy when he gets rolling hitting, he is insanely good.
Yeah.
And we saw that in that game coming off of the benching. And you can tell that it was definitely one of those things. It was a heat of the moment kind of thing where Castellanos didn't want to have to come out, but he sort of knew the situation as much as he didn't agree with it. And, it cost him his streak of consecutive starts, but sometimes, the coach has to be that guy who has to be like, look, man, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to help this team win. And if you're going to do that, you have to sit. And right. I feel like Castellanos understood that and was like, okay, now all I have to do is just come out and just show them that, that didn't matter. And he did exactly that. He was absolutely getting on top of those pitches every single time he was up. And the catch that he made to seal that win too, up against the outfield wall out there. It's just I believe it was Tom McCarthy said that, isn't baseball a wonderful thing, when he made that catch? Like, it's just one of those kinds of situations where literally in your head as you're watching him play, you're like, man, baseball is so cool in those kinds of situations. And that's exactly what you got with Castellanos during that Marlins series.
Yeah, it's it was like a villain and then a hero at the same time, just trying to complex it into one. That's the most important thing too. So I guess we can segue into this, since we're talking about standout performances this week. I think that's the most important key too, because all week long the Phillies, we saw a lot of good standout performances overall. But Austin, I'll ask you this question. I guess it was already been answered, but I'll ask it again. Who was your standout performance this week with this Phillies team, with the Mets and the Marlins series in this last week or so?
For me, it was 2 guys. It was Castellanos for his response to being benched in the offense that he put together the rest of the week and the weekend, and personally, because of the fact that I just love to see it, Christopher Sanchez, that 8-inning outing that he had against Miami was stellar. He what was it? He went into the end of the 7th inning not having thrown over 85 pitches, which is insane. You don't see that anymore. Like, normally a starter, you see him maybe go 6 innings, even if he throws the amount of pitches that he had thrown going into the end of the 6th, like, they'll pull him at that point. You don't really see pitchers go a lot longer anymore. And they were like, you know what? Have fun, dude. And he went out there and he had a very dominant start.
Yeah. Alex, same question to you. Who do you think was your standout star of the week for this Mets and Marlins series in the last week or so?
Yeah, mine is Edmundo Sosa. I feel like coming through big time in the series finale against the Mets was fantastic to see. His plate appearances definitely came through, and he looked confident out there. And they really needed him to come through, especially taking the series against the Mets.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what the greatest thing about it was is just that this week was probably a perfect get right series for the Phillies. I think that's the most important thing about this too, because especially what happened with Castellanos during the week and what happened after that, and I think the Phillies started to find okay, now we need to find a way to get back into a groove after a couple of disappointing series here and there. But it looks like right now they're starting to try to get their footing a little bit. But I want to show you this image if you didn't see it yet. But this is something actually pretty cool here. That it was Nick Castellanos and JT Realmuto, literally like a race like to the home plate bag. It was kind of like you were playing tag with your friends back in the day, and just I mean. That to me was probably the most important thing. That was a standout performance. That happened on Friday night against the Mets, while Zach Wheeler was like dealing too on that night too. But Castellanos and JT Realmuto literally like right neck on neck on each other. It was neck and neck of each other. It was pretty amazing to see that too, because I wanted to just show you that, because I mean the way that umpire was just like calling safe and 2 times, I'm surprised he like his arm wasn't getting like if you call safe twice in a matter of 2 seconds or so, I mean you have to be like right on top of it every which way. So I mean that's the most important thing. It was just that. It was a very good series. It was a very good weekend for the Titans. But I want to get your immediate reaction when you see that. I mean, what sticks out to you about seeing that play? I mean, obviously I was at a bar with a couple friends of mine, so I didn't see it closely. But it looked like it was a pretty good. I had to be, and it should have been the play of the night, no question about it. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of those situations where that base hit goes through, and Castellanos is like, "Oh yeah, I'm in. No worries, I'm in." And then next thing he knows, he hears other footsteps behind him, and like as he's getting to home plate, and in his head, he's like, "Oh shit!" he has to hustle up just a little bit more. Like those are the kinds of things that you love to see with the game of baseball. Is like those fun little silly moments that turn out to be really awesome. You can never beat those kinds of moments.
Yeah, no question about it. Yeah, and it's funny too, Austin. When I saw the play of it, I said to myself, it's like, dude, they were like right next to each other. Like, say, for example, one of them was, I mean, I can't imagine one of them was out or one of them was safe. I mean, like, both being safe on that play, it was, I mean, I still to this day, I was like, shit, dude, that was a hell of a play by them.
Yeah, it was awesome. You love to see those kinds of things, absolutely.
Yeah, damn right.
Especially in that situation, too.
Yeah. Alex, I'll ask you that question, too. Obviously, I guess you did see the play, you saw it, so... I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong. That should have been the play of the night. Am I right?
Probably the play of the month.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Like, just watching it live, it didn't really hit me until, like, after the game with everyone talking about it on Twitter and especially the post-game show. And it was just an amazing moment between Casti and Realmuto at the plate, and I'm glad that Casti didn't overrun Realmuto, and it would have been a different story and outcome if he passed him.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of those things. It's like you do it like probably on MLB The Show or something like that. You'll probably want to do that like with a video game and see like how much you could like be right next to each other. I don't think that. I mean, that would be like an ultimate glitch if I'm not kidding. Like they would probably be like an ultimate glitch or something like that to just what do you call it? But like I said, something iconic like that. I mean, some people called it was like a semi-tush push a little bit, like the Eagles like would do back when they were like in 4th down and stuff. So in a way, it was kind of like. Maybe it was like similar to that. Maybe it was probably like a little bit like their own Phillies special play. I guess it was like but there was a lot. Like you even said, Alex, there was a lot. There was like buzzing. A lot of people were saying about it on social media, even on Twitter and Facebook and the whole 9 yards. So it was a very good game for the Phillies, no question about it. But most importantly, I think we could segue into our another topic here. That's our player spotlight. So. This week, I've been watching a lot of Otto Kemp as of lately, and I gotta say right now, he's been becoming a real good player in this league. And I know he's been he's has his fair share of like having rookie mistakes, and well, not rookie mistakes, but more like he's starting to feel like the pressure's not too big for him. I think he's starting to get more comfortable every chance he gets. But overall, this is a 2-part question to you guys. With Otto Kemp now. With this Phillies team, let's say, for example, Bryce Harper is actually he's actually doing a lot better in his rehab starts. I mean, but overall, I mean, first and foremost, it looks to me like Otto Kemp is getting better every single game. I think that's the most important key. And the question I want to ask you is that, like, if Bryce Harper does come back from his injury, do you keep him up even though he's playing very good right now?
I would think
I'll start you.
Yeah, I would think you have to. I mean, he's starting to get the feel for playing at the major league level now, and he's had some really, really good games already. I mean, he's definitely had some, like you said, some little mistakes here and then. Like, it feels like he was starting to get, like, trying to find his stride up at the major league level, and I think he's found it now. And the fact that even just in this last week, there were games where he would play, and then the next day Bohm would start at first, put Sosa at third, and then Kemp would probably come in as like a defensive sub or something later on, or do a pinch hit appearance. I'm totally fine with that. We have a couple of other guys that can play that position if need be, and even better, Harper comes back, you keep Otto Kemp up. If you need to give Harper a day off, you can maintain the defense at third base and keep Bohm over there and just play Kemp at first. Or if you want to also give Bohm the day off, start Sosa over there at third. So you have really solid options now with how Otto Kemp played. So it gives you a lot of really good potential, but it also leads to a bit of a crossroads in what do you do when Harper comes back now, because you do have to make some sort of a roster move. So there's going to be a very serious look into, I would say, the figures and what you need to try and work around to either keep him up, or even, if you have the ability to option him back down, to be able to do that, let him get some more work in AAA, maybe even bring him up to fill out for the playoff roster.
Yeah, Alex, same question to you. What sticks out to you about Otto Kemp's game so far, and his level of success so far in these last couple games or so? I think we got it. Oh crap. So yeah, like I'll answer the question, and then I'll ask Alex when he comes back here. So I think he's had. So his Wi-Fi is randomly out. Okay, so I guess it's just gonna be okay. So
yeah, it's been happening to me recently. This last week and some change, my internet's been kind of spotty.
Yeah, it happens. No worries, it's all good, buddy. Let's see. Okay, so if he comes back on, I'll ask the question again though. But back with Otto Kemp real quickly though, the one thing I was really intrigued to see this week was that he actually is starting to get better and better every chance he gets. I mean, last night was a little bit of a head scratcher seeing him playing at left field, but overall I think he did pretty good. I think he did very well. And I think the one thing that really sticks out to me the most is that the thing that is really that he's actually the game's not too big for him. I think he's starting to get better every chance he gets. I think it was when Harper went down. I think he started to get better and better every chance he got. So overall, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do if Harper is having that same, if he's actually moving in a positive direction with his rehab assignments and also with his rehab with that shoulder injury or that wrist injury, excuse me. So it will be definitely interesting to see what he'll look like, especially in these next couple months or so, especially if Harper is hypothetically ready to come back. That'll be the most important key is that what they will do with Otto Kemp and let alone somebody like other players in between, especially. But this is on my next question I wanted to ask you. So Kyle Schwarber, it's June, so he's finally. I mean, he was getting home runs every chance he got back in April and also in May, and that was the most important thing about it too. But man, he's just. I mean, the way he's just been playing so well right now. And Alex is back with us right now. So so you know what? I'll ask you the question, Alex, before I go into Kyle Schwarber here. So with Otto Kemp here, what sticks out to you about how successful he has been playing in these last couple games with the Phillies, especially with Harper's injury?
Kyle is definitely showing his energy and his powerful swing day by day, and it's electric to watch just the way he's swinging the bat, and he's making great eye contact with the ball, and he's driving it as much as possible. And this is what the Phillies need in him, especially with with Harper being out so long, and I just feel like he's definitely in the in a great moment of the season. He's definitely having a bright games every single night, and I really hope that he continues what he has been going through, and it's definitely going to show later in the season once Harper comes back and the way this lineup goes about.
Yeah, that's a good that's actually a very very good point by you, Alex. I think that's the most important thing about it too. With Kyle Schwarber, I mean, you would think that this is the month he starts to shape out a little bit, but he's been doing it the last couple months actually. That's been really been a positive to see. But Austin, I'll ask you the same question here with Kyle Schwarber here, even though it is June and it's like Schwarber always being hot as he is. Do you think he's ever going to? I mean, I know this is a little asinine or a little bit just a hypothetical here, but he once he's effective, he just continues to dominate in every which way. I mean, there's no chance he's going to stop anytime soon, right?
I would like to not think so, and that's the beauty with Kyle Schwarber. It's my favorite season within the season. It's Schwarber season now. We have hit that patch of the season where Kyle Schwarber just absolutely rakes, and we are starting to see it. And granted, we're near the end of June, but it's usually June, July is when he really starts to get on his horse and get going with the power numbers. And I believe he's over or close to passing over the 60 RBI mark already this year. Like the guy's been not only with the home run power numbers, but also with just getting runs across the plate. Like the guy's been incredible at batting, and especially batting out of the 1-2 spot. Being in that top part of the lineup at 1 or 2, he's been extremely effective. And as a power hitting left-handed bat, to be able to have him follow up a guy like a Trey Turner or a Bryson Stott, like he's right where he needs to be, where he likes to be in that spot up in the order. And even when the lineup turns over, we have guys in the lower half like Marsh, Kepler, even Johan Rojas, guys that can get on base and get themselves into scoring position for Schwarber to be able to drive those guys in later innings. And he's been doing that consistently this entire year, even more so now that we've hit the month of June. And, I really do hope that his what's the word I'm looking for? His absolute torrid pace continues. Like the man is unstoppable once you hit the month of June almost. And it's so fun to see every single year. Like even when he was with Boston, Washington, with the Chicago Cubs, like he would hit this time of the year where he would just uncork every single pitch that he would see. And it has not stopped since he came into the league, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree 100% on that. The thing that really is really funny, I thought about this when I was thinking about this today. I said to myself, like the way Schwarber just continues to dominate in every which way, I say it right now, I think he's just like on a tear. I think he's just, once he's on a tear, he never stops. I mean, it's not like he's like hot and cold. I mean, you'll think about like the Wright Howard days, like when he has like a lot of home runs and then he gets cold, or the same thing with other players that get like really cold. But I will tell you this though, the one thing that really sticks out to me with Kyle Schwarber is like if once he's like in a slump, he doesn't get into like a bad slump. I mean, yeah, sure, he'll have an up and down kind of games here and there. But overall, you never see him like ever struggle at the plate, and that's pretty damn amazing to think about. I'm gonna admit.
Yeah, and especially with his capability to be able to have a good eye at the plate, it means you're seeing more pitches, which means you're getting the opportunity to be able to put the bat on the ball a lot more often. And right. he's taking advantage of every single at bat that he is getting every single game.
Yeah, and speaking of our final topic on the Player Spotlight tonight is there's one guy that I actually never thought I would say that's been stepping up big time, and that is Trey Turner. Trey Turner the last couple games, it looks to me like I feel like now he's finally getting back into that groove of what he came here, what he's supposed to come here for, and finally living up to that contract. So Alex, I'll ask you this question. Are we finally seeing the Trey Turner that we were supposed to see after he signed with the Phillies? Because that's what it feels like with this Phillies team. It looks to me that Trey Turner is finally starting to shape out a little bit. What sticks out to you about what Trey Turner's level of success the last couple games?
It's exactly what what we have expected the last couple of games, especially the Miami series and Mets series. And he's just dialed in, just like Kyle Schwarber and Bryson Stott and a couple more hitters, but he's just thriving at the plate, and it's awesome to watch and see how his power is coming about each and every night. And I really hope it continues throughout this next series against Houston with a hot pitching rotation. And I'm just really anxious to see how he goes about with his hitting.
Yeah. To also, same question to you. What's the most important key here for Trey Turner to keep this level of success going, especially what he's been doing the last couple games, actually.
I feel like the key for him, just like with Schwarber, is plate discipline. Being able to see more pitches in an at-bat, being able to get the opportunity to drive more baseballs. He leads the league with 94 hits right now, batting an even 300. So, I mean, he's doing exactly, like you said, exactly what he was expected to do when he signed here with Philadelphia. He's hitting the ball really well. He's stealing bases. He's getting extra base hits. He's hitting for right around his career average. And on top of that, his defense is still good. He may have an error every once in a blue moon, but sometimes the offense can pick up on those bad defensive plays, and he's definitely let his bat do a lot of the talking in response to some of those rough defensive spots he's been put in sometimes. And he's been making every opportunity count every single day he's out there.
Yeah, no question. I think that's the one thing that was really the positive I take out of it too, especially when Trey Turner came here. I said to myself, okay, the last couple of years have been a struggle for him, but I feel like now he's starting to get that groove a little bit, what he was, especially what he's finally worth that contract. Now, the question is, though, I always say, I know I'm a little bit skeptical when the time calls for August or September or October comes around, but right now, the Phillies looks to me like the last couple of years or so that have been the real stepping stone is that time when they start to struggle a little bit. I'm not saying I don't wish it happened, but that's the one thing I worry about with this Phillies team is that, yeah, they're actually starting to hit the baseball very well right now, but the question is now, too, like Schwarber and like Trey Turner, like they could, and then also a majority of the lineup, too, that's going to be the most important key, especially when in those next couple months or so, especially when they'll look like to actually make a good postseason run, and that's the most important thing, no question about it.
Yeah, especially closing in on the All-Star break, the main thing you want to have right now is consistency, and we're seeing that with Philadelphia. They're maintaining some very solid. They're getting very solid starts from their pitchers. The bullpen's been picking up a little bit. There's always that one or two hiccup innings, or like we saw with the Mets. You come into that series, absolutely wallop them. Come back the next game, get absolutely walloped back, and then go and wallop them again. So we tend to have these kind of I call them seesaw series, where we'll come in and absolutely dominate, and then they'll dominate us, and then we'll come back and get our pound of flesh on the rubber match. But it's just baseball, man. Sometimes you're going to be cold, sometimes you're going to be hot. You just have to hope that you heat back up at the right time. And right now, Philadelphia is hot, not only in the actual temperature, because oh my God, I am dying every day now. but the baseball field, they're tearing it up on the diamond.
Yeah, for sure. Austin, you got? I'm not Austin. I'm sorry, Alex. You got anything to add before we move on?
I'm just curious to see how the pitching rotation continues to thrive, and especially these upcoming series that are crucial for them to continue to spark the light and just have great feel of what they have been doing in the past weekend or so.
Yeah, for sure. And the last thing I'll say about this too, especially with this Phillies team, the thing about with the player spotlight is that we always talk about every week is that who's going to be a who needs to get hot kind of moment. But right now, the Phillies are just playing real red hot baseball right now, like you even alluded to, Austin. And like the temperatures are hot, and even the Phillies are hot. I mean, it's kind of like, in a way, it's like what Charlie Emanuel would call it hitting season. And I think that's the most important key too, is that hitting season's like hitting its stride again. And I think that's going to be the one thing that appalls this team, is hopefully when this team gets ready for the next few months, is that the pressure is not going to be on. I mean, yeah, there'll be pressure on them, but the pressure is not going to be too big for them like they did back in 2022 and 23, and not last year, but those couple months when they got to the World Series in 22, and let alone in 23 too.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things you really hope that the momentum carries, especially because of the fact that we're getting closer to the All-Star break. You really hope they can go into All-Star break with good momentum, come back out with good momentum, and be able to keep that running, even if they hit a little bit of a skid here and there throughout the tail end of the season. That you, like I said, you hope that they get hot at the right time, right as the season's coming to a close, going into postseason play, and they can just carry that through.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of something that needs to get hot here, it's kind of been a headache the last couple games and the last couple days. I mean, not bad, but it could be better, and that is the bullpen. So, I want to say a little positivity towards this bullpen. Yeah, I mean, sure, Strom gives you headaches, Romano gives you headaches sometimes, and sometimes you try to figure out like who's gonna be the one that's gonna pull your hair out the next couple nights. But I'm gonna give a little bit of wisdom here. Is there any chance that who can be the savior of this bullpen? If there is one player that could be the savior to this bullpen, who would that be? So, Austin, I'll start with you.
Oof. I personally, I want it to be Orion Kerkering.
Yeah.
Just the kid had an amazing story coming up a couple years ago and being able to pitch really well. I feel like he's starting to find it a little bit more this season, but just everyone in that bullpen has been, to put it delicately, they've been anemic. It's been very tough it's been very tough sometimes. You're like, and like you see them go into the bullpen and you're like, uh-oh, here we go. Like, it's just it happens a lot, I feel like it's like the Phillies MO is like the bullpen is always a question mark. But if you can have a majority of your games where you don't even really need the bullpen to do much, then you're going to be in a good spot. But also, it's not 2006, 2007, where you have pitchers going 7 2/3, 8 1/3 on almost every start basis. So it's sort of relying a lot more on the bullpen. And I was looking into something because I've been a subscriber to Trevor May's content for a good while. I know, right. Boo Mets, Trevor May, boo, but like he's very insightful. I mean, pitchers going obviously pitchers going deeper into games makes your bullpen better. It means you don't have to use as many arms. It means those guys are fresher for the next game, which actually statistically means that the bullpen actually pitches better in terms of an ERA standpoint the next day. So if you can get if you can have these incredible starts where you have the 7 innings from Ranger, the 8 innings from Sanchez, another solid 7 from Wheeler, like if you can have these guys get these really quality starts in, your bullpen's going to be getting better and better every single day. You just have to be able to have the solid start ahead of it. And every once in a while you get, like I said, you get one of those games where it just all sort of comes off hinge a little bit, and then that next day everything just resets. You know what I mean? So if you can get more of those solid reset type of games, you're going to be in a lot better spot. And especially, like I said, with Kerkering, he's one of those guys. He's sort of like the deeper reach into the barrel. You know what I mean? Like they're grabbing Romero, they're grabbing Hernandez, they're grabbing Strom, like they're pulling these guys out, and then they're like, well, these guys all pitched yesterday. We have to go to Orion, and they reach a little bit further in the barrel and bring him out, and he has a solid appearance. Like, I want to see him more because of the fact that I know he has really good stuff. We've seen it. We've seen the quality of the movement of his pitches, the velocity of his fastballs. This guy can pitch really, really well. We need him to be able to find it again, and I feel like he's starting to find it this year.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing too is that, like, if the bullpen, I mean, I worry about this bullpen a lot. I say this a lot with this. I mean, it feels like it's been a running trend at this point with this bullpen because it feels like one game you have a guy that has his stuff, and then there's another moment that he doesn't have his stuff. Like Matt Strom's an example of that. Jordan Romano's a spot is something like that. I'm with you, Austin. I gotta go with. I think Orion Kerkering has to find his ways now to become that closer, especially after Jose Alvarado went down with that 80-game suspension. That's going to be probably the most important key, because I say this a lot about with this Phillies team, is that especially with a good bullpen like you had back in the day in 2000. I mean, there was a series about it in MLB Network that the Phillies had with Chad Durbin and Brad Lidge and even Ryan Madsen. I mean, I want to have that 2008 feel. J.C. Romero, yes. And also Scott Air, too. And, and that's the one thing I want to feel.
Take me back to the
Take me back, right? Exactly, right? Exactly right, brother. Exactly right, my friend. So, Alex, the question to you, I want to ask you, too. I mean, is there a savior out there for this bullpen to give? I mean, if there's like a trade partner or maybe somebody in this bullpen could actually save this bullpen from action. I mean, if there is a savior of this bullpen in any which way, who would that be? In your opinion?
I was going to go with Owen Corcoran. I was thinking of Matt Strom, but he's been up and down, and not as not as great as what Owen Corcoran has been doing. It's just a matter of time, and I feel like Corcoran has been having positive things in his philosophy of pitching, and I just wanted to see more of Matt Strom and the way he's been handling closing out games, and I just feel like Corcoran has the higher edge of everything.
Yeah, and that's why I asked the question, if I may, because I like I said before, I want to believe in this bullpen. I want to believe that Strom is the guy. I want to believe that Romano, is the guy. I mean, sometimes I want to have a decent bullpen. I mean, that's all I want. I just want a decent bullpen. It doesn't have to be pretty. I know they get excited once in a while, but overall, I just want this team. I mean, look, that's going to be the most important key come playoff time, is that how this bullpen is going to be sustain that level of success. I mean, yeah, sure, sometimes they'll find their footing. I mean, a few years ago when they had that 2022 World Series run, I was worried about Jose Alvarado, and it turned out Alvarado did a pretty good job. And it was the same thing with Strom, too, and it was the same thing with others. I mean, that's all I want. I just want a decent bullpen. I mean, look, we're talking like 3-4 months down the road, but, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, you want your starters, like even Austin alluded to get also go like 7 innings, so you don't have to do too much, and also go back to the ways that your pitcher can go 7 and 2 innings, and also you bring in like a J.C. Romero or Ryan Madsen to come in and be the setup guy, and then Brelich lights out, closes the door at in the 9th inning. That's the most important key, especially what this Phillies team has to do, especially in these next couple months or so, because once it starts to disintegrate, that's kind of a bad thing to have. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to completely shatter and say, "Oh, this bullpen's horrible." I just hope there's like a flip side of this coin, that they can find a way to just have some more positivity going into a postseason, especially that's been the most important key, especially because you never know in postseason how good this bullpen's going to be like. But overall, I just want to see how this bullpen will be like, especially when the time calls for it and when they need to start to step it up here, especially in these next few months or so. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and one of the names that I had heard floated around a little bit, but I haven't really heard it much recently, was a potential for a deadline deal for maybe a guy like an Aroldis Chapman. Which, I mean, a power throwing lefty is what we would need to replace what we had with Alvarado. And he's a guy who short little 1-year contracts now for him. Eat like 2/3 of that contract from Boston. Let him just cook out there on the mound for Philadelphia. I mean, it's very possible that everyone that we're hoping that it could be, Strom or Kerkering or any of those guys, it could end up not being that. And it's very possible that we have to go and look elsewhere to try and find that person that can sort of anchor this bullpen. And he was one of the names that I was hearing for a while, but those little flits and flames of those kinds of talks have definitely died down since then. But, there's still the possibility of, having to go out and find that guy somewhere. And you hope that whoever they find is the guy that can sort of help sort of pull the whole bullpen issue together. But knowing historically how Philadelphia has been over the past handful of years, it could end up just causing more problems. So you never really know for sure.
Sure, yeah. So Alex, the question I would ask you too is, do you have anything to add before we move on?
No, I think we covered plenty of it.
Oh, okay, cool. So this is our last topic of the day here. So this is the upcoming series preview. So this week, the Phillies play the Houston Astros for 3. It's a World Series preview of 2022 up at, and it's not Minute Maid Park anymore. I forget what they're called. I forget what the stadium's called. They changed it over, but I always used to call it Minute Maid Park, but I guess I'll keep it the way it is. So for this upcoming series preview this week, the Phillies have 3 games up in Houston, and it starts tomorrow night up in Houston. And the first game, we have Ranger Suarez going tomorrow night for the Phillies, as he is 6-1 this season and has a 2.20 earned run average, and he'll be opposed by Framber Valdez, who is 8-4 this year and has a 3.09 ERA. The next game, we got Wheels going, a.k.a. Zach Wheeler, going the second game after a great outing on Friday night against the Mets. And he is 7-2 this season and has a 2.61 ERA. And he'll be opposed by Colton Gordon, who is 2-1 this season and has a 4.54 ERA. And to close out the series up in Houston, that'll be on Thursday afternoon as Christopher Sanchez takes the helm that game, as he is 6-2 this season and has an ERA of 2.87, and he'll be opposed by Hunter Brown, who's having a good season. He is 8-3 this season and only has an ERA of 1.88. And then after that series, they'll be up in Atlanta for 3 against the Braves. That starts on Friday night and it closes out on Sunday night again on ESPN as there'll be another Sunday night baseball broadcast. But overall, like I always ask you guys here on this very important program here, so what are your expectations for this Phillies team this week? The question I would like to ask is, can they sustain this level of success like they did the last couple games against the Mets and the Marlins this week here, especially against very good teams in the NL East and let alone in the AL West?
Yeah, I mean, especially with Houston, you just like you had listed off with the numbers for those starters. I mean, they're definitely not slouches out there in the AL West still. I mean, Seattle's definitely starting to heat up, but Houston's still maintaining their dominance in that division. Framber Valdez has put up another really solid year, even though his ERA is a little bit higher than you would expect it to be right now. Just being just a hair over 3 is not bad for an AL team. And I forget the kid's name, the guy that's starting in the third game. I forget it. I forget his name.
Hunter Brown.
Hunter Brown. Dude, he's put together an incredible season. ERA of sub-2. I mean, you love to see that kind of stuff from any starter out there in the league. I mean, and on the Phillies side of everything, Ranger Suarez, I believe they said his ERA for June is second in baseball, only to Paul Skeens, who's is below a 1.
Wow,
which is insane. So I mean, there's a lot of Houston is definitely no slouch team, and going out to Daikin Park out there in Houston is never an easy task. I mean, they get really loud out there. It's a beautiful stadium, first of all, and
yeah, it's a great stadium.
Their fans, especially once they close that roof, man, it gets loud in there.
Yeah.
And then going from there to having to play the Braves in Atlanta, like you have to be really ready to compete this week. Well, I think it's James's turn to have his internet get him. While we wait for him to set back up, Alex, you want to give us your thoughts on this week?
I feel like it's really crucial for the Phillies to get the first 2 games of both series, especially going up against Valdez tomorrow. He's going to be pretty good as what we've seen before, and I just hope Trey Turner and everyone else does really well in the upcoming series. And going to Atlanta after Houston is going to be pretty tricky. With the fan bases, but it's going to be a hectic week with everything between these two teams, and I really want to see this bullpen of the Phillies to be electric from game one of the Houston series to the last one, and same with Atlanta. And I'm just really anxious to see what moves Rob Thompson does throughout these couple of games, and it's going to be crucial for them to get wins with how tight the standings are at right now.
Yeah, especially going up against Atlanta in Atlanta with the position that where we just barely have a lead in the NL East right now. You hope that you have some solid success in Houston to sort of widen that gap a little bit going into Atlanta to potentially open that up a little bit further. And especially against Atlanta, I mean, granted they have Chris Sale on the IL right now with some fractured ribs after making a diving stop during a game over the weekend. But, the rest of that pitching staff is still really solid. That offense is very potent. Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzie Albies, Matt Olson, like these guys can really get hot when they need to. And you really hope that Philadelphia has the capability to be able to either get ahead early or be able to respond very well against whatever Atlanta puts at us. But yeah, I mean, this is looking to be a really solid week for Philadelphia. Very, very tough competition coming up. What is your prediction for record coming out of the end of the week?
I think they go. I really hope they go 4-6.
4 out of 6 wins.
Yeah, 4 out of 6.
That's honestly what I was thinking because Houston can very well surprise you with a game. They've done it a lot throughout the year against some of their opponents. Same thing with Atlanta. I mean, we've had some tough goes against them over the past couple of months during this season. And like I said, Houston is not a slouch out there in the AL West. They're very tight competition. Seattle, I mean, the Angels a little bit. The Angels are still competing as much as they can. Granted, Artie Moreno is basically chopping off his foot despite his own leg out there, but it's the AL West is still very tight competition, and Houston sitting at the top of it is showing that they still have what they need to be able to be a perennial playoff contender, and Atlanta has that too. They have really, really solid pitching, really solid offense. The bullpen's really good out there, and you just hope that.
Oh, hey guys, just to let you know, James ran out of power, so I'm here.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's the summertime, man. We're gonna start getting that kind of stuff happening every once in a while.
I'm like, how is this possible?
Hey, it happens.
All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. Finish.
Yeah, man.
Here.
We're actually just about to wrap up here. I'll actually, while you're here, big shout out to Mitch for getting This Week in Phillies Baseball together with myself, Alex, James, the Joes, Joe Marks, and Joe Sullivan and Mark. Very, very great crew that we have here, and I always look forward to doing this every single week. Before we do get out of here, Alex, is there anything that you want to plug? Where can people find you to be able to catch any more of your content?
Yeah, I got a couple of things coming out later this week and tomorrow. For specifically, you can find me. My personal page is at AlexRich123 on Twitter, and let's take 123 and Dugout Report 12 and Hoop Talk Fanatics, and you can find me on all those platforms, and I look forward to continuing to spread out my content and have great content. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely give Alex a follow if you don't already, guys. Makes excellent content. As for me, every Saturday at the on the Hardcore Play and Rewind YouTube channel, I do the Hardcore Play podcast alongside my buddy Art. We actually haven't decided on what our topic will be for this weekend, but we'll probably get it buttoned down more than likely by tonight or tomorrow. In the meantime, if you're looking for other content that I do, right down here in the bottom right corner, twitch.tv/Hambo26. I just did some more Oblivion remaster today. I'm going to be continuing that until I get that done. Doing Resident Evil 4 remake as well. A few other games that I'm kind of okay at, but I just say that to be nice to myself. But yeah, with that, we appreciate you all joining us for another edition of This Week in Phillies Baseball. Stay cool, stay hydrated, enjoy the rest of your week, and go Phils.